Good morning, students. Welcome to English class. I hope you all are doing well. In today's English class, we are going to do our next chapter of literature, that is The Village School. It is written by Shreya Pareek. So, this chapter is about three girls, Tabassum, Tarannum, and Rubina, who helped their village people and children to become educated. They spread education in their village. In the beginning, people were not ready to listen to them, but still they worked hard, they believed in themselves and helped the children and the people to get education because it's very important. They knew its importance and they let the people of the village to know its importance too. That education is important and they should teach their children. So, let's read the story. Tabassum, Tarannum, and Rubina are three inspiring young girls. They are very inspiring young girls. They have changed the face of the little village of Sajoi near Varanasi for good. There was a time when no child in the village took education seriously. Girls would drop out of school to help their mothers, and the people of the village refused to see the importance of a good education. Now, what they did, they changed the face of their little village. Their village is Sajoi, that is near Varanasi, and they changed the face of that. That means that they changed it altogether. With the help of education, they changed the face of their village. In the beginning, nobody took education seriously. They thought that education was not that much important, and especially girls. They would drop out of school just to help their mothers, and people of the village refused to see the importance of a good education. In our village, nobody studied. We, the three of us, were the only ones who finished school and went on to study further. Some of the children had never even stepped out of the village. The children from the basti start working at a young age and ignore their education, says Tabassum. Now, these three girls are sitting together and Tabassum is talking that what actually happened. That in their village, in village Sajoi, that is near Varanasi, nobody studied. Only these three girls were educated who finished schools and went on to study further. Some of the children, they even never stepped out of the village. So these children from the Basti is the slum area where people with lower income lives. So they start working at a very young age because they are not educated. They have to work for to earn their livelihood, and they ignore their education, says Tabassu. The girls decided to take matter into their own hands. Now, what they did? They decided to take this matter in their own hands. Like they decided that they would do something about it. They would spread education in their village. And to do that, they have to do something. They started going door to door to ask students to go to school. Now, what they started? They started going door to door to ask people that they should go to school. They got in touch with the Human Welfare Association, an NGO in Varanasi, which trained them to take on this challenge and provided them support. First, what they did, they went door to door to tell students, to ask students that education is very important and they should go to school. Now, next, what they did, they get in touch with an NGO, that is Human Welfare Association, that was near Varanasi, in Varanasi, that Sajoi, that was near Varanasi, and in Varanasi there was an NGO. They took help of that NGO. NGO is what? Non-government organizations, which help people if they want to do something for social cause. So now they wanted this to happen to educate the people of their village, so they took help from the NGO, and which trained them to take on this challenge and provided them support. Now that NGO, that Human Welfare Association, that helped these three girls and trained them that how they can take up this challenge, how can take up this challenge of educating people of their village, and provided them with support. And that NGO helped them, supported them so that they can make this dream come true. They can educate their own people of their village. The girls found a small public place where they started a school. Now, with the help of the NGO, the girls found a small place in their village, small public place, where they started a school. The school was meant for children who had never stepped out of their home or had dropped out of school because of problems at home. Now, this school was specially meant for the children who had never stepped out of their home, who had never been to schools, who don't know how to read and write, or had dropped out of school because of problems at home. Or the school was for those children, those who didn't get education because they couldn't afford it because of their some monetary problems or any other problems at their home. So this school was specially meant for those children who had never been to school and who had dropped out. Dropped out means they left school because of some problems. It might be financial problems, it might be any other problem of the family. So it was this school first for those children. It was very difficult in the beginning. Students would just not show up. But we knew if we gave up easily, our mission would remain incomplete. We would go to their houses every day and ask them to come to our school. And finally, after 6 months of doing this, students started coming to school without us having to drag them from their homes. Tabassum recalls. Now, Tabassum is talking to her friends, and she's recalling all these things, that how they started, how it all happened, which help they all took. They took help from an NGO. So she's recalling everything, what actually happened, what they had to do from the beginning. So now she's saying that it was very difficult in the beginning. Like in the beginning, it was very difficult. Students would not show up. Students would not come to their school. They would not attend the classes. But they knew that if they gave up very easily, their mission would remain incomplete. Their mission of teaching children, educating children, would remain incomplete. So they cannot lose their hope. They would go houses door to door every day. What they used to do, every house they used to go every day to ask them to come to school, that you should come to school, please come to school, like this. And finally, after 6 months of doing this, for 6 months they used to go to house of the children so that they can take with them to school, that they should come to school. This happened for 6 months, and after that students started coming to school automatically. They started coming by themselves. Drag means to pull. Now they didn't have to drag. After 6 months they didn't have to drag children to come out of their homes. Tabassum is recalling, she's remembering, she's bringing that to her mind, that what actually happened. In the first month, they had 35 students, but after a year, they managed to enroll over 170 students in the school. What happened in the first month? There were only 35 students, but after a year, they managed to enroll. Enroll means register. They managed to register over 170 students in the school. However, the battle was only half won. But what they say, this battle was only half won, means what they actually planned to do, it was just a part of it, what they are achieving. As far as they were concerned, whatever their concerns was there, it was only half thing that they have achieved now, because the biggest challenge was to bring in the girls who had left school altogether. Because now their biggest challenge was that the girls of the village, they were not coming to school, only boys were coming. So that is why the author has written the battle was only half won, because only half of the children were coming to school, those were boys. Girls were not coming to school. Altogether means completely, not at all. They were not coming at all. Their parents did not want these girls to leave their homes. They thought going to school was a waste of time for them, as they could do household work during the day, she says. Tabassum is saying again, she said that, she's recalling that their parents used to say that girls did not want these things. They didn't want their parents, they did not want their girls to leave their homes. They thought that going to school was just a waste of time. It would be of no use. And during that time, if they go to school, during that time, they can do household work during the day, she says. But the trio is a group of three people. They had a different plan, but they planned something else because they wanted the girls to get educated. They were not ready to let go of their dream of educating the girls in their village. They started a small tailoring training center at the school so that the families would let their daughters come there. Now, what they planned? They planned that they will start a small tailoring training center, means in which they will teach, train the girls to master the art of tailoring at the schools, and their family would allow their daughters to come there. So they were not ready to get let their dreams go. They wanted to make their dream come true of educating the girls also, giving education to girl child of village also. So they started a small tailoring training center at the school. When the girls came to learn tailoring, we started teaching them as well. Now, what she says, Tabassum is saying again that when the girls started coming to school, when they started coming to school to learn tailoring, they started them teaching as well. Many parents got angry and asked us why we are teaching them when they had been sent to learn tailoring. Now, many parents got angry that why are you teaching our children, our girls, when we have just sent them to learn tailoring? Why are you teaching them? We would tell them that tailoring requires some measurements and calculations, and a basic education is necessary for that. And to this, what reason they gave that why we are teaching your girls? Because to learn tailoring, it's very important that you should know certain measurements and certain calculations, and for that, education is important. So, they gave this reason to the parents that education is very important even if you want to learn tailoring, because you have to do some calculations, some measurements, and for that, basic education is very much necessary. Then, their efforts led to the transformation of the village when they first started their school in 2007. Only 2 or 3 people in the village were educated. Now, 90% of the children, including girls, go to school. Now, what happened then? Their efforts led to transformation of the village. Their village was transformed. There was a complete change. There was a drastic change in their village, and it was changed altogether. When they first started their school in 2007, it's a true story of 3 girls. When they first started their school in 2007, only 2 or 3 people in the village were educated. They first started their school in 2007, and at that time, only 2 or 3 people were educated. But then, when they started educating them, 90% of the children, including girls, they go to school. This tremendous change these 3 girls brought into their village. The greatest triumph for the girls came when not just the children but their mothers too began to show an interest in education. Triumph means it was a great success for them. It was really great achievement for these girls. That the greatest triumph for the girls came when not just the children but their mothers too began to show an interest in education. Now, mothers of the children, they also started showing interest in education. They also wanted to get educated. It was really great achievement for Tabassum, Tarannum and Rubina. There are several women in the village now who no longer use their thumb impressions as signatures but can sign their own names. Just because of education, there are several women in the village who don't use thumb impressions. Thumb impressions means thumbprints which are used in place of signatures. Key people who cannot read and write, who are uneducated, they use thumbprint to sign any documents or any important papers. They use thumb impression, but now they were educated, they used to do signatures with their own names. But all this was not easy. We faced many challenges. The people of the village would shout at us and say that we are a bad influence on their girls. But this all was not easy. Getting 90% of the people of the education educated, 90% of the village people, children educated, that was not easy. That didn't come easier to them. As the people of the village, they would shout at us. Tabassum is saying again, ki people used to shout at them that they had a bad influence on their girls, that their influence, that they want to show some bad path to their children. They discouraged them, village people. It was humiliating, and it was really humiliating for them, as the girls felt really ashamed and they felt stupid, that as if they were doing something wrong. We would go home and cry, but it was our parents' support that kept us going. Without them, we wouldn't have achieved anything, says Tabassum. Now Tabassum is recalling again. She's saying that we used to cry, we used to go home and cry, but it was just our parents' support that we could do this. We kept, and it kept us going. Without them, we wouldn't have achieved anything. Now she said that if our parents' support was not here, we wouldn't be able to do anything. It was these three girls, Tabassum, Tarannum, and Rubina, their parents supported them. That yes, you can do it. If you have taken something, takes charge in your hand, you can do it. So it was their parents' support that they could educate the children of their village. There was even a time when the people of the village asked them to leave the public space where they ran their school. So they started teaching from their own homes. Now they are, at that time also came, and what village people did, they threatened them that you cannot, that you have to leave this place, this public space. You cannot open any school here. You have to go back to your home. So what they did, they started teaching at their homes. They had to leave that space, public space, and they started teaching at their homes. These three girls, Tabassum, Tarannum, and Rubina. It used to hurt us when people said that we wouldn't be able to do anything just because we were girls. Now, another thing is coming up. Why people were not supporting them? Because they were girls. They were mocking at them, they were laughing at them that you won't be able to do anything because you are girls. So, they really felt bad when people used to say this to them. But they didn't stop. They kept on going and they achieved success. But we have proved everyone wrong, she says. Now Tabassum is saying that very confidently. She's saying that, but because of our courage and our determination, we have proved everyone wrong. Today, the people who used to mock them are coming forward to support them as they see a positive change in the village. Now, those people who used to mock them, who used to make fun of these girls, who used to make fun, now they are coming forward and supporting them. And when they saw that education is bringing a positive change in their village, they came forward themselves just to support these girls because they know that this cause is really good. They want to spread education, and this is really important for their village. They understood this. Finally, they understood this. Then the people of the village even arranged for electricity so that the fans and lights would work in the school. Now what how they helped these girls? They arranged for electricity so that children can study very easily with fans and lights would work in the school, because it become very easier for them to stay there to attend the class without hassle free. The class was hassle free now because they had lights, fans, so it became easier for them. We can't give the children degrees, so we give them a good education and help them connect to good schools, says Tabassum. Now Tabassum is saying that it's not in our hands to give degrees. We don't have that much resources here. We cannot give degrees to our children, but yes, we can provide good education to them and help them, that we can connect them to good schools. That basic education we can give to them so that they can get a chance to read in good schools. Tabassum says. The trio has managed to work successfully with over 250 children so far, and they continue to get more admissions every year. Now, this trio, this group of three people, that is the Basum, Tarannum, and Rubina, they managed to work successfully with over 250 children so far. Till now, they have worked on 250 children, and they have not stopped. They are still working for it, and they continue to get more admissions every year. And now every year, now people know the importance of education, Every year they are coming up with new children, new admissions. Along with teaching, the girls are now completing their college education. These girls, along with teaching, they are teaching the children of their village, and along with that, they are working on themselves also. They are completing their own college education also. They are studying information technology. And what they are studying? They are studying information technology. We would just like to say this to everyone: please let your daughters and sons study and do whatever you can for your village as people there need you, concludes Tabassum. Now, Tabassum is concluding it that ki, we would just like to say this to everyone. Ki, this is our humble thought that I would like to share to all of you, that please let your daughters and sons study because education is very important. You should let your children study. Don't just let them that they have to work and earn money. No, first let them complete their education and do whatever you can for your village as people there need you. And next thing she's saying to the readers that ki, whatever, wherever you live, either you live in village or either you live in city, you should work for your own people. You should work for their welfare. You should help them as much as you can because those people need you, concludes Tabassum. So this article first appeared in the Better India, Asia, that is Asia's largest impact media platform that uses solution based journalism for change. So this was the story, The Village School. You can go through the video, and if you have any doubt, you can write in the comment box and you can ask. Thank you.